You are listening to the Life Coach School podcast with Brooke Castillo, episode number 386.
Welcome to the Life Coach School podcast, where it's all about real clients, real problems, and real coaching. And now, your host, Master Coach Instructor, Brooke Castillo.
Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to the podcast today. Today, I am sharing with you a webinar that I did recently to my audience at the Life Coach School of people who are interested in becoming life coaches. And I thought that some of you listening to the podcast have probably considered it. You might have felt that urge, that nudge to maybe become a life coach. And so I wanted to share the contents of what I had in that webinar. In the webinar, I talk about how important it is to make a decision and not to live in maybe. And that's for any decision that you're trying to make. And I apply it to becoming a life coach. And then I also go through all of the details of what you get when you join certification at the Life Coach School. So it's about an hour. Please, if you're thinking about becoming a life coach, check it out. It covers all the details. If you have any additional questions, you can always come to lifecoachschool.com and set up a call, and we'll talk to you about it more. Enjoy. All right, friends. Welcome to Should I Become a Life Coach? I'm Brooke Castillo. Nice to meet you. The way you can talk to me is in that little Q&A box. So I would love to hear from you why you're here. Are you thinking about becoming a life coach? What are you worried about? What are you concerned about? What's going on in your head? I'm going to take you through a process to help you make a decision. I'm going to tell you all about our program, what you get in life coaching certification through the Life Coach School. I'm going to answer any questions that you have. I'm going to talk to you about your brain if it happens to be freaking out, which anytime your brain is doing something new, it freaks out. So if you're in that boat, you're very normal. Welcome to being a human being. Okay. Everyone's here to see if they're thinking about becoming a life coach. Well, tell me what some of your concerns are. Why haven't you signed up yet? Why haven't you already enrolled? I mean, I know some of you probably have already enrolled and you're just here to reconvince yourself. But for those of you who haven't, who are considering it, why haven't you signed up yet? What are your concerns? What are you wondering about? I want to make sure that I can address whoever's on this call, I can address your needs for this. Okay. This is good. I've jumped into lots of different things, but never completed them. I'm afraid this will be another thing I'm excited about until it gets difficult. Okay, good. We'll definitely talk about that. Not sure if it's for me. Not sure if I'm good enough. Okay. All the typical reasons why we don't have our dreams come true, right? Is what's going on here. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit of how I'm going to run this webinar. I have a bunch of slides that I've done for the webinar, but the way that Zoom works is it makes me like this little tiny picture in the corner when I have the slides up. So I'm going to go through pretty much the first part of the decision-making process. I'm going to go through that just with me on the screen here. So we feel like we're talking to each other. And that way I can continue to read your questions as they come up if you have very specific questions for you. This is a small webinar, an intimate webinar. So I will be able to read all of your questions probably. So if you have something really specific that you just want to talk about with me, please feel free to put it in there. I will address it, whether you feel like it's just a customized problem to you or not. Typically, we think we're all special and that we have different issues, but typically the solutions to all issues are usually the same when we go through the thought process of them. So I don't want you to think your issue may not help someone else. It probably will. But I want to start by just giving you a short introduction to me. I know that some of you may be here brand new. This may be the first time that you're being introduced to me and to my work. So I just want to briefly cover who I am and kind of the components of the Life Coach School. I started the Life Coach School almost 17 years ago. I just became a life coach. You know, when I started life coaching, people didn't know what life coaching was. I barely knew what it was. I heard about it and was like, that is the career for me. I had studied psychology my entire life, but decided not to be a psychologist because I found it very depressing to be working with non-functioning people, trying to get them to functioning. And I didn't see that there was a career path for me to work with someone who was already highly functioning in their life, but wanted to take their life to the next level. And that's kind of what I had experienced in reading self-help books and working with consultants is like, I had already had a high functioning life. I was already doing very well, but all of the self-help books I was reading and all of the content that I had with like workshops and that sort of thing kind of took my life to the next level. And so when I realized that was a career that I could start, I immediately signed up for it. I went to like a 3-day seminar to become a life coach at the time. And putting myself out there and telling people I was a life coach was challenging. Nobody really knew what one was. So I've been in this game from the ground floor. I've been studying life coaching since it was a brand new career and also studying internet marketing since it was a brand new thing, like the internet and like how to market on the internet and how to build a business on the internet. When I first started was like non-existent. I basically ran an ad in a magazine when I first started to get clients and it worked. So those are my two loves. My two loves are life coaching, and that's the purpose of my life, but I also love business and marketing. So one of the reasons why I have been so successful as a businesswoman in this industry is because of my loves for both of those things. I have grown concurrently with the life coaching industry and also with internet marketing and studying internet marketing. And so I'm able to offer that to my students in a way that a lot of other programs aren't. Other programs will teach you just accountability, life coaching, which is useful in some circumstances, but not all. And I'm able to teach you causal coaching, which is useful in all circumstances that is appropriate for coaching. But I'm also able to teach you all of my marketing techniques and all of my business techniques that have made me so successful as an entrepreneur. And that's the magic combination. That's why when you hear about so many of our coaches making $100K, making $1 million, making over $1 million, it's because I'm not just teaching them how to manage their mind, which is a huge component of that, but I'm also teaching them how to really, truly build a business and become an entrepreneur. So some of you may end up not wanting to be entrepreneurs, and one of the things that you get to do is benefit from me being a very successful entrepreneur, because there's two parts to that. I hire many coaches to come work for us at the Life Coach School, but I also train coaches who go on to become very successful coaches who need to hire people. So we have literally at the Life Coach School changed the life coach industry in terms of making it so there are more opportunities by growing successful coaches and being available to our clients in a way that the demand has skyrocketed, that we are now able not just to put more coaches in the world in their own businesses, but also put more coaches in our businesses to be coaching. I know when I first started, I would have loved to have just been able to coach all day. That was my passion and my love. And up until pretty recently, in order to be a successful life coach, to make a lot of money as a life coach, you had to learn both skills. And many people still want to, and we teach that, but we also have the opportunities now in this industry. There's so many people that understand what a life coach is now that we're able to get hired as employees, as life coaches, and work full time. So those are some opportunities that I literally have created as I've built my business. When you look at the Life Coach School now, as it's evolved over the 17 years, there's really three main components to our company that make us able to make $50 million a year. And the first one is really kind of our pride and joy, which is the podcast that has been going on for years, and it's absolutely free. We have more goodwill and more content out there in the world for free than anything else that we do. And that's something that I'm so honored to do, but also so proud to be able to offer to people who maybe find some of our other options inaccessible. They can still get all of my content, all of my coaching content through the podcast. That's really just the first step of intellectual understanding in terms of the concepts that we teach. I feel like there's a huge missing opportunity in the world, a huge lack of education as it comes to the mind. I feel like as we send our kids out through school, none of them are taught this important concept of managing your mind, of processing your emotions, of being able to fuel the actions that you want. I don't think we teach our kids to dream big enough. I don't think we teach them to expand the possibility of what it means to invent a future for themselves that requires a lot of failure in order to get there. And so the podcast is really my attempt to introduce those concepts to the world and to get as many people on board using them as I possibly can. It's been such a thrill to have so many letters sent to me, so many emails sent to me of people who have listened to the podcast and completely changed their lives just by studying and applying the concepts in the podcast. So I'm super proud and honored that that is kind of the gateway that most people utilize to get in. After the podcast, most people join our program called SelfCoaching Scholars. This is a membership program that we created for clients out there in the world who want coaching. It's a very affordable way for you to get extraordinary coaching in this world. We offer group classes, we offer group coaching, we offer one-to-one coaching, and we offer online video recorded classes in our study vault. Basically, every course that I've ever created, all the content, all the ideas, all the tools that I've ever created are accessible within SelfCoaching Scholars, which is a monthly program. It costs $297 per month to join that program, and you get the best value for your money for coaching anywhere in the world. And within that coaching program, I have many coaches working for me, teaching classes and coaching our clients online. That has been an explosion in the life coaching industry, that opportunity to make coaching more accessible for people that maybe have never been able to hire a coach, and to work with our coaching staff in a way that accelerates progress because of the application of the tools. A lot of people will go to listen to the podcast and feel like they're making so much progress. And then they join SelfCoaching Scholars and it's like gasoline on a fire, right? It just completely takes off. And then the third offering we have, so we have the podcast, then we have SelfCoaching Scholars, which is our monthly program for clients, $297 a month. And then our third program that we offer is certification. And that's for people mostly who have gone through SelfCoaching Scholars. Some of them haven't, but they know that they want to become a life coach. They want to get deeper training. They want to really dive into not just applying the tools, but understanding them well enough so they could actually teach them. And one of the things that I always say, if you want to really learn something, learn how to teach it, learn how to apply it to other people. Our certification program is a program that's designed to be a year long. The first 6 months is very active in a classroom, online, working with an instructor in a very small group, learning how to coach, getting feedback, practicing, and learning all of the tools, mastering all the tools ultimately, and becoming certified at the end of that. Once that 6 months is up, you have the opportunity to deepen those coaching skills and keep applying them. For example, if you're interested in working for another organization or you want to get hired by the Life Coach School, that's kind of what we call our applied coaching track. Or if you're interested in becoming an entrepreneur, we have all of the tools for you to become an entrepreneur as a coach. We have all of the content that I've created of how I built my own business and how I helped many of my students build their businesses. All of the steps in order to create that business is there. A lot of us who've never been entrepreneurs before feel lost when we come into this opportunity to become life coaches. And so I try to make it very simple and step by step so you know exactly each thing that you're going to need to do in order to become known in the industry, to become known to your clients, and build a business that is sustainable. It's absolutely possible. I feel like we're on this cusp of this opportunity that not a lot of other industries get to enjoy. Our industry is growing faster than almost any other industry in the world. It is insane. The number of people requiring support and life coaching because of what's going on in the world has exploded. And so I need to come out here and get you all to become coaches. Those of you who feel called to it, feel like it's part of your purpose. I need to come get you trained so we can support the world, so we can support the people that are really struggling and really need this help. And because we haven't been trained, because we don't have these trainings in our schools, we don't know how to manage our own mind. As just a side note, it's so fascinating for me because most of the time in my life, I'm surrounded by other life coaches. I'm training life coaches. I'm coaching life coaches. The people that work for me are all trained as life coaches. And I just recently have started dating, and I've been out there in the world dating people that are not associated with life coaching, who don't even really understand what it is. And it's always so surprising to me to meet amazing people who don't have access and haven't been informed about these tools that are available. It's like, I want to tell them everything right away. I'm like, don't you know about this? Men, let's go. We got to get you trained. And so when people say to me, oh my gosh, the life coaching industry is saturated, everyone has a life coach, I'm like, no, they don't. It's a problem. We need to get out there. We need more life coaches in the world. And that's kind of my mission right now, is to be an example of what is possible as a life coach, and therefore inspire those of you who are considering it to have that deeper purpose, that deeper contribution in your life. So one of the reasons we've become so successful at our company in the certification and in the SelfCoaching Scholars, which are the two products that we offer, is my belief system in always over delivering. So we created a business where when people pay us, they always get way more value than they've paid. And that's something that I encourage all businesses to do. It makes your life so much easier. It makes marketing so much easier. It makes sales so much easier, because you're basically saying, I have this Mercedes Benz that's brand new and fully loaded, and it's $10. It makes life so much easier to sell. And that's why our business has grown and compounded by millions of dollars. We'll do $50 million this year because of that focus on over delivering to our customers, to all of our customers, and to all of our students. So that's just a little bit about me and the school and what we offer. And one of the things that it's important for you to understand when you're kind of considering joining our community is what I believe and what we believe as a school. And one of the things that we do believe is that it is possible for everyone to make their dreams come true. I believe that your dreams, your desires, what's in your heart is your map to your future. And all of the noise that tells you that you can't do it, all of the noise that tells you that it's not possible for you, is your work to overcome in order to have your dreams come true. And so one of the things that I want to talk about a little bit today is what it means to make a decision, what it means to decide, because you literally have to decide to make your dreams come true. You can't just have a fantasy in your heart. You can't just think about what you want to do. You actually have to make a decision. And so many of you are on the fence about becoming life coaches because of all the noise in your brain preventing you from making that decision. And so what I want to talk about today is the problem with being on the fence, the problem with maybe. And I want to talk about how all decisions are made right now. So if you're not signing up for coach training right now, you have made a decision not to, even if it's unconscious. But if you've made it unconsciously, you're going to be swimming around in what we call the land of maybe. And the land of maybe is really just this indecision where you're going back and forth. Maybe you don't have enough information, you don't have enough knowledge, but you're kind of considering something but not taking action on it. And what that does is it spins that energy, it spins that fuel that you could be using to achieve something in your life. It just burns it up, basically, and creates a lot of uncreated, dissipated energy that doesn't manifest in the world. And here's what I mean by that. If you're deciding no on something, I don't want you to just decide no by default. I don't want you to just think like, okay, I'm not going to do that right now, but maybe I'll do it later, because there's no power behind that decision. It's like by inaction, you're making an indecisive decision, right? It's like a passive decision. So you don't get to flow that power. What I want to teach you to do is to decide a yes or a no, and then commit to that either way with all of your heart. Okay. So the difference between a passive no and an active no is everything. So let me give you an example. Like maybe you're in a relationship. You've been kind of thinking about leaving. You're not really into the person, but you're not really not into the person. You're just kind of like in this place of indecision. And because you're there, you haven't left. So you have no energy flowing towards new possibility, new people in your life, new energy, new identity. But you're also not really in the relationship. You're not committed to it. You're not putting energy into it. You're not making it better. You're not having more intimacy and more communication and more growth within that relationship because you're in this indecision between leaving and staying. And so it makes your life very mediocre and it exhausts the energy that you could be using by releasing that through a decision. By the way, this is how most people live their entire lives. They live their entire lives in indecision without even really realizing it, kind of half in and half out of their life, half in and half out of their relationships, half in and half out of their jobs. But if you make a decision, okay, no, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay committed. I'm going to stay in this relationship. And I'm going to take all this energy that I've been playing around with, like dancing around with, not being fully in, and I'm going to pull all that energy into that no, and I'm going to refuel this relationship. Okay. That's the difference that I'm talking about. That's the difference between yes, no, and maybe. Okay. So I want at the end of this webinar, you to say yes to life coaching. I want you, if this is your dream, if this is what you're considering, I of course want to help you get there. But if it's not a yes, I want it to be a no. I don't want it to be a maybe for you, because if you commit to that no, then you can release the power from this decision and move on with your life. And what I want you to do is do big things with your life. I want you to take this one precious life and make it exactly what you want. And so what we need to do is we need to keep choosing our life on the regular. Do I want to be in this relationship? Do I want to be in this house? Do I want to have this friend? Do I want this job? Do I want this career? Do I want to have my dreams come true? Do I want to create that in my life? And we keep committing to the things that we have, which invigorates us. And we turn away from the things we no longer want, jobs that don't serve us, exercise programs that aren't helping us get more healthy, food that we're eating that's not helping us. All of those things we redecide, and then we live a more conscious life. We live a life that is on purpose, that is for us. Now, I'm going to warn you, when we make decisions about new things and new life and growth, life will become more challenging in different ways. But not in the way you might think. The way your life is challenging right now may be boredom, indecision, exhaustion from not doing anything, right? Indecision will exhaust you. Feeling bad about your life, feeling bad about yourself and not doing anything about it is exhausting. So you may come to the end of your day and feel exhausted and you haven't done anything, but you don't feel like you have energy to move on and go chase your dreams. You can't even barely get through the day. And the reason why is because you're not living a conscious life. You're not making enough decisions which release the power that you need in order to create the life that you want. Okay. So I want to talk to you about how to do that in this webinar today. I'm going to take you through the process of doing that. A quote I want to share with you is, at the end of your life, 2 or 3 major decisions will change the trajectory of your life. This is one of those decisions. When I made the decision to become a life coach, my life trajectory completely changed. Not only because it became my career that I'm now incredibly successful at and enjoying the growth of the industry within, but also because it changed me and my identity as a human. By learning how to manage my mind at this mastery level, I have changed everything about who I want to be, what I want to create, and what I believe is possible for myself. So I don't want you to underestimate how important this decision is. Even if you decide not to do it, I want you to take that decision very seriously. The only time that we really make a decision is in this moment. And so I want you to be careful as I'm going through this process that you don't kid yourself into believing that you will make a decision later. Oh, I want to think about it. I'll think about it later. Listen, make the decision now, yes or no, right? And you can make another decision in the future, but don't pretend like you can drag a decision out. You're already deciding if you're not taking action. So own the no so you can release that power from that decision. Okay. So let's talk about the steps to making a decision, and then we're going to actually go through those steps. So the first thing you need to do is understand what your options are, and you want to write them down. So in this case, it's actually pretty simple. And you need to make sure you're educated on those options, which I am going to do for you here today in terms of the training at the Life Coach School. So the options are you become a life coach now, or you don't become a life coach now. Those are your two decisions, right? So you're going to be doing this new thing, or you're going to be committing to the thing that you're already doing with a new sense of energy. So for some of you, you're considering doing one job, like, should I stay in my current job as an attorney, or should I become a life coach? So these are your two options. You're either going to make the decision to sign up for the training and become a life coach, or you're going to make a decision to give up that dream, give up that idea, and recommit to becoming an attorney. Okay. Those are the only two options. There's no maybe in between. Okay. And the process for doing that is writing down the two options, and then you're going to answer 3 questions. So once you have those 2 options written down, I want you to answer these 3 questions. And I do have a bonus question for my friend Layla that I think is really powerful. And as I'm asking these questions, I want you to answer them. Don't just think about the question. Think about the answer to the question for you specifically. What decision brings you closer to who you want to be, even if you fail? What decision brings you closer to who you want to be, even if you fail? So many of us are so afraid of failing that we miss out on our dreams. We just fail ahead of time. We're like, I'm afraid I'll fail at that, so I'll just fail ahead of time. So which decision brings you closer to who you want to be? Have you thought about who you want to be? Do you know that that's optional? So many of us are just living our lives thinking like, oh, this is just who I am, instead of seeing like, this is who I want to be. Here's the other questions. What is the best case scenario in 3 years with both options? So let's say you're deciding between becoming an attorney or becoming a life coach. What is the best case scenario in 3 years? If everything goes great in both situations, which you have complete control over, what's the best case scenario? Okay. And this is a really powerful question for any decision. Because oftentimes what we're doing is considering worst case scenarios. I want you to consider best case scenarios for both options. So, for example, what's the best case scenario? And I just kind of brainstormed some ideas here. What is the best case scenario if you sign up for life coach certification? Certified life coach? That's best case scenario, right? You go through the training, you get certified, you are now a certified life coach. I put making $100K per year. It's a very likely scenario for most people who go through this industry who have already made money in their life to be able to make $100K a year as a life coach, working from home, picking your own hours, picking the clients you want to work with, doing work you love, making a contribution. For some of you, it'll include writing books. For some of you, it'll be creating new tools, being creative, doing group coaching, doing speaking. What is the best case scenario for you? Have you let yourself dream about that? And then what is the best case scenario if you don't become a life coach? So for me, I'll give you the example of what it would be for me when I was becoming a life coach is what was good about not doing it is I didn't have to take any risk. I didn't have to be afraid. I didn't have any growth. And there are some benefits to not putting yourself in what I call harm's way. You don't have to process all that emotion. You don't have to be in fear. You don't have to put yourself out there. You don't have to worry about what people will think about you. But for me, staying the same, even though it provided me with this mediocre comfort, wasn't an option because my dreams kept nudging me. And I know that some of you can probably relate to this, right? You probably feel this sense of like nudging, this sense of you're meant for more. You could do this. This is an opportunity for you. even if you're an introvert, even if you're afraid, even if you've never done anything like this before. If you feel that nudging, you know what I mean, right? So that's a really powerful process, is to consider best case scenario under both circumstances. Becoming a life coach at the Life Coach School is about learning all of the tools that are required to live an amazing life. So not only are you learning a job, a career, a curriculum to be able to apply to other people, but you're also learning everything you need as a coach to live your very best life. So I want to run through the courses that we teach you at the Life Coach School. I want to run through the curriculum because it's so powerful. It's so amazing what you learn within this 6-month program. You learn how to hold space with love and non-judgment. That's harder than it sounds. But in order to coach someone, you have to love them. You have to understand how to not judge them. We don't know what any of our clients should do with their lives. They're the only ones that know the answers, but we teach you how to hold space so they can find their answers. This is such great news. So many of my students are like, well, I don't know how to help people live their best life. I'm like, you don't have to know what they should do with their life. You just have to know how to hold the space so they can find out what to do with their life. We teach you how to coach yourself. You are your hardest client. Your brain and the noise in there will always be the hardest person you'll ever coach because you're always judging yourself. Have you noticed? So we teach you how to get around your own brain. Once you learn how to coach yourself, coaching other people is so much easier. And you get the benefit of feeling so much better and accomplishing so much more in your life when you know how to coach yourself. We teach you the self-coaching model, which is the secret to the universe. Okay. So many people have said, oh, I joined all these other programs and I didn't know how to coach anyone. There's only 5 problems any client can ever bring you in their life: a circumstance, a thought, a feeling, an action, or a result. That's it. There's only 5 full things in the world, 5 categories of things. Every single one of them fits beautifully into our model. So whatever your client brings you, you don't have to know the answer. You don't have to know what advice to give them. You don't have to be able to therapize them or psychoanalyze them. All you do is grab it and put it in the model, and the model does the work for the client and for you. It's your job to hold space and take them through the model. That's the beauty of this program, is we give you a tool that allows you to co-create with your client without putting all the pressure on you and without requiring you to have knowledge of even what you're coaching them on. Many of you won't. Many of you will be coaching people on things you haven't been through. This is a beautiful thing. If you can stay in non-judgment and love and run them through the model, you're going to be able to help them. We talk about emotional childhood and emotional adulthood, taking responsibility for yourself. We talk about a tool called the manual, which will completely change your life. The manual is how we think other people should behave so we feel better. Have you noticed that doesn't work? It's so painful, right? We teach you how to introduce that concept to your own brain so you have a format and a framework to get yourself out of that process. Because if you're waiting around for other people to change, you're going to be waiting a long time. We teach you the most magnificent way to create goals and how to cultivate the results that you want in your life. We're not just about pie in the sky, dreaming, the secret, law of attraction. We love all those things, but we also teach you how to create a goal that will make you more of who you want to be, whether you achieve it or not. We teach you how to dream bigger, which expands your brain to thinking bigger and better. We talked to you about strategic byproducts and how important it is for you to have goals that make you grow so you get all these strategic byproducts as you're going towards those goals. We talk about your belief systems that you may not even realize that you have, that your clients won't realize that they have. And we unpack them from your brain and you're like, what is going on? No wonder I'm not achieving my dreams. How do I end up believing this? And you find out that you adopted this belief from society, from your parents, from your friends without even realizing it. So we teach you how to navigate your own belief systems and how to cultivate and create new ones. There's a whole class on story versus facts. We don't know the difference. We think our interpretation of the world is the world. It's not. It's not. We create stories, and some of those stories serve us and some of them don't. But when you realize how much power you actually have in your story creation, that's how you're able to create results like I have, results that make no sense in the world. How is it possible that me, a woman with a psych degree, undergrad degree, is making $50 million a year from her computer? It's amazing, but it's because I learned how to manage my brain. It's because I learned how to break through belief systems and stories that I was telling myself about what was possible for me. And you can do the same thing for yourself. We talk a lot about boundaries and how to set boundaries and how to teach your clients to set boundaries and how important that is when we're trying to grow and evolve as humans. We talk about your lovability and we talk about how it's 100%. And so is it with every other human in the world. Teaching your clients that is such an honor, I think. Teaching someone like you don't have to do anything to become more worthy. You are already as worthy as you will ever be in your entire life. And when you know that, you're going to go out there more. You're going to show up more. We're going to see more of who you are if you believe that about yourself. If you think there's something wrong or damaged with you, you're not going to show up as the best life coach, as the best version of yourself. So we make sure you understand this concept. Lovability has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the person's ability to love you. And some people just don't have that ability, and that doesn't speak to you at all. We talk a lot about past and future, how important it is to focus and create from the future instead of from the past. Your brain is conditioned to create from the past. We want to teach you to create from the future. We talk about unconditional love and how you have to have that for yourself and for your clients in order to make lots and lots of changes and success in your life and lots of money in your business. We talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion and how important that is to understand as you're going out to create a business, as you're working for someone else's business, the differences between what it's like for different groups in this country to evolve, to grow, to seek out opportunities. And by understanding all of these differences and including everyone in your business, you're going to be such a higher quality coach, higher quality human being, in my opinion. We talk about buffering, overeating, and overdrinking. There's so many of us that are trying not to feel our feelings. So we're Netflixing and Facebooking and Instagramming and eating and drinking. And I have done all of that myself, and I have all of the tools to overcome that. And we don't just teach you how to do it. We teach you how to teach your clients to do it as well. We have tons of courses that you can take on that, but we also teach you live exactly the tools, the worksheets, the information that you need in order to help your clients get over their buffering. We talk about a 45-minute session. We teach you how to do a session that will help the client see the benefit of coaching and help you sell your coaching sessions. It's basically a 45-minute session where you take them from where they are now to where they want to be, and you show them that bridge. You show them how to get there by using the model. Lastly, we talk about feelings and pain. It's a really important skill that most of us never learned in our lives. We don't have it taught to us ever. And once you learn the power of processing pain and feeling emotions, you become less afraid of living in the world. If the worst thing that can happen is a feeling and you know how to process a feeling, why not make your dream bigger? Why not actually go for it? And that's what we're teaching you in this training, how to do that and how to teach your clients to do that. And that's the curriculum. Every single week you get a new class and then you learn the material and then you apply it in your small group of 10 to 12 people. You apply it. So it's not just an intellectual understanding that you have of it. You're actually utilizing it with real clients. So I want to jump in here and ask one more question that you might ask yourself is, what would you choose if you could be equally happy either way? This is a third question to really debate with yourself. A lot of us make decisions. We look at our two options and we think, oh, which one will make me happier? And it's the wrong question to ask. You want to ask yourself, if I could be happy either way, because you can, we'll teach you how to manage your mind that way, then which one would I choose? And it really usually clarifies it for everyone. They immediately decide, this is the one I want. The potential in the next 3 years is bigger. It'll make me become more of who I am. And if I could be happy either way, I choose this. I choose to make a contribution to help people to live more in service to my true dreams. Whatever decision you make, you want to love your reason. What is your reason for becoming a life coach? What is your reason for making this choice? I'm going to share with you what my reason was. Some of these may resonate with you. I wanted to give myself a chance at my dream. I wanted to learn about my brain. I wanted to become an entrepreneur. I wanted to coach all day for money. I coached all day anyway. Many of you could probably relate. I was coaching my friends and I was coaching my colleagues, but I wanted to get paid for actually coaching it. I wanted to master the tools to manage my brain. I wanted to join a group of like-minded people. I wanted to keep evolving. I wanted to love the work that I was doing every day. I wanted a chance to make money without having someone else tell me what to do. I wanted to blow my own mind with what I'm capable of. I wanted my life to be a contribution. I wanted to have a deeper purpose. I knew that there were customers already out there in the world waiting for me. I wanted to help them. I wanted to invest in myself. I put that money down for that coach training as a way to go all in on myself, to bet on me, to believe in me. And even now, it's interesting. I'll meet with financial advisors because I have so much wealth now. And I'll meet with financial advisors and they will tell me where to invest my money. They'll say, you should go invest your money here. You should go invest your money here. And I always say to them, but why don't I invest it in me, in my business? Because I have control over that. I believe in myself and I know that I can create what I want in the world. I don't know about these other businesses, but I do know about mine. So most of my wealth goes right back into my own company to pay my employees, to run ads, to meet all of you, to create opportunities and products for my students and for my employees. And I bet on me. There's not a lot of opportunities that you can put your time and your money on yourself and see what you're capable of. When you work for someone else, it's a little bit different than that. I wanted to be excited about my future. I wanted to overcome my fear, my doubt, my confusion, and I wanted to prove to myself what was possible for me in this human life. So I think that one of the things that's important to understand is once you've asked these questions, you want to find your yes or your no for yourself. You want to make that decision. And that is the next step. That's the third step after you've asked these questions. You just need to make a decision. And it sounds so obvious that actually deciding is part of the decision-making process, but so many of us don't decide. So find your yes or find your no. Now, some of you are on this call right now. You're listening to me talk. You're like, yes, I think I want to do this. And then immediately you freak out. Your brain freaks out, which is very normal because brains don't want to do new things because brains are focused on the past and they're focused on keeping us safe. Your brain hasn't evolved up into the point that it understands where you're at and what you're capable of. But the great news about that is you have your own brain to counteract your own brain. So if you love your reason and you feel that yes inside of you, I want you to anticipate and know that you will freak out, that your brain will go into survival mode. You know this because when you decided to get married, your brain freaked out. When you decided to buy the house, the brain freaked out. Sometimes when you buy a car, your brain freaks out. It's like, oh my God, this is big. I don't know if I can do this. But when you find that yes, you want to take immediate action. So for those of you who are on this call and you're thinking about becoming life coaches, you would enroll. You would tell someone. You would cash out your stock to pay for it. You would go to the bank and write a check. Whatever it is, you take that action that will ignite that decision-making momentum. And then you anticipate your brain freaking out. Now, one of the questions that I had was, what are the obstacles you're going to overcome if you choose this? And a lot of people, what happens is they make a decision about something and the obstacles come up and they're like, oh no, obstacles. Oh no, I'm freaked out. But what I want you to see is that obstacles are just weights in a gym. They're just opportunities to grow. They're opportunities to get stronger. So if you look at and write down every single obstacle you have to becoming a life coach, to achieving this dream of yours, each one of those obstacles is also an opportunity for you to grow. And when you make that commitment, you make that yes or that no, those obstacles are going to come into your way. And if you see them as opportunities, as rungs on a ladder to get to where you want to go, you're always going to win. Because otherwise you will see them as stop signs. you will see them as reasons not to go forward. And most people spend their whole life looking at obstacles, anticipating how hard they're going to be, and not taking action. And what I want you to do is look at your obstacles as opportunities for you to become more of who you are. So I wrote down some obstacles that I thought maybe you would be thinking about. And these are the ones we hear from our students. The money to invest. That's an obstacle for a lot of people. How do you overcome that obstacle in order to invest? And I'm going to talk to you about the guarantee that we give in order for you to pay that tuition back within a year. And I think that's an incredible opportunity that you have for yourself when considering this. So I want to talk to you about that in a minute. The time to invest. Will you be able to manage your time in a way so you will have the time to commit and stay committed to doing this program? This isn't a program you can do passively. We are requiring you to become a better version of yourself so you can coach. If you're going to go out there with the Life Coach School name and become one of our coaches, you have to be at the highest caliber. You have to be the best coach you can possibly be and that we could possibly train. You're going to have to overcome the obstacle of the effort that you're going to have to put in, the fear and the doubt, the disbelief that you may have in, am I capable of this? A lot of people say, well, I'm not as charismatic as Brooke, or I'm not as loud as Brooke, or I'm not as smart as Brooke, or I don't have as much experience. And usually what's happening is you're comparing your beginning to my end. I've been at this a long time. I was very successful when I started. I didn't just start at where I am now. I was much less successful in terms of my own coaching, my own ability to speak, my own ability to coach. And yet I was still successful as a life coach. I still helped so many people get to where they want to be. And the other note I want to say here is you don't have to be me in order to be successful. There are so many clients that don't want to coach with me. They're freaked out by me. They don't like the way I look. They don't like the way I am. It's great. Those aren't my people, but you have your people that'll want to coach with you. And what are your other obstacles? What other things are going on for you? You know, you have kids, you have another job. Are you going to be able to make it all work? Don't see it as a problem that makes you stop. See it as an opportunity that makes you think, an opportunity that makes you get closer to who you want to be. When you know you can be happy in your life regardless, either way, the fear you have been living in can be released. You can decide to live a very big and exciting life regardless of your fails, regardless of the obstacles. You can move forward. So what I want to do now is jump into the slideshow here and kind of go through exactly what you get as a student at the Life Coach School. I'm going to go through the entire program benefits. Okay. It'll probably take, 8 minutes for me to do that. And I want to make sure that you all understand exactly what you're going to be getting when you join the school. These are just a couple of our coaches and what they have said. I won't read all of them in detail, but let me read what Carrie said here. She said, I'm able to take the tools and principles that I've learned at the Life Coach School through certification, apply them to my personal life, my family life, and also in my business. I think it's extraordinary that you're not just getting the opportunity to change other people's lives and to have a new career, but you're also getting the opportunity to change your own life. So here are some questions you might have. Is it worth it? What is my risk? And what do I get? So I'm going to briefly answer each one of those questions. Eric says, do it. It's worth the investment and will change your life. Very simple. Marlene says, I joined coach certification because I believe the tools taught by LCS are revolutionary, and I wanted to share them with my clients. Certification turned out to be first and foremost about my own transformation. Marlene is actually one of our students who became a SelfCoaching Scholars coach. That is now her career. She has a SelfCoaching Scholars career as a life coach within SelfCoaching Scholars, but she also has her own business as well. Okay, so here's what you're going to get. You're going to get 6 months of training and practice. So the way that this looks, and you need to understand this because it's very important that you see the quality of what you're getting. You will get a video where you will learn the concepts that I teach. And I teach them in a very intense way so you understand the concepts. And most people, when they watch these videos, are like, oh my God, it's not what I teach in the podcast. It's not what's in Scholars. This is in certification. I'm not just teaching it to you so you understand it. I'm teaching it to you so you can master it. So you get that video and then you get on a call with your classroom, in your classroom with a class of 12 and a dedicated instructor for you to practice the material. You also get weekly private coaching sessions included. You can sign up in Scholars for a coaching session. Anything that's coming up for you. I don't think I'm good enough at this. That'll happen for sure. I don't know if I can do this. This is too hard. I'm scared. I practiced coaching and I didn't feel like I did a good job. I practiced coaching and I think I'm amazing. Whatever is going on for you, you have those private coaching sessions once a week so you can work on your own coaching. The other benefit of also getting coached once a week is that you also get to experience what it's like to have a coach and to be coached by someone who's already mastered the tools. So it benefits you not just to like process your own fears and your own doubts and your own confusion on what's going on for you, but you also get to work with a coach that you will one day become at the level that you will one day become. One of the things that some of our coaches work on is time management. They go to their coach and say, hey, I'm having a hard time managing my schedule. They work on that. I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to make money while I'm in coach certification. I'm trying to get my first clients. You work on that. You work on your money mindset where you're like freaking out about money. We help you with that. Maybe you're working on processing emotion, processing fear, processing doubt. Whatever it is you're working on, you get a coaching session once a week to work on that. You also get to practice coaching in that group. You get a license to use all the tools that we teach you in your practice. So we will give you all of the tools of the Life Coach School, and you can use every single one of those tools with your own logo, your own branding in your coaching practice to coach your clients. We give you a whole book full of worksheets that you're able to simply put on a table in front of you and take your clients through. It's so powerful. Some of us, when we're first starting to coach, we're a little bit nervous for those first sessions. We're not really sure about ourselves first. And having those models to take your clients through and having those worksheets to take your clients through step by step, question by question is a lifesaver. And you're able to use all of those tools, absolutely included, fully licensed to use all of them as part of your certification program. You get access to a study vault with thousands of hours of content of me teaching, me coaching. You can watch me coach. You can watch other people coach. You can watch us teach, talk about concepts. One of the things that I felt like was the most powerful thing I ever did was listen to other people coach. That's what made me understand that most clients come with recycled thoughts. And the more you listen to other people coach, the better you get at your own coaching. The other thing that you get is 6 months of private mentoring after you are certified. So once you're certified, you want to go out there in the world and start building your business, or you are working for someone else and you're having clients come to you and you need some help, you need some support. Maybe you didn't anticipate something. You have a private mentoring session once a week where you can go to your coach and get help on those things. There's no other school in the world that offers this for you. And this is what you get in your training. Alicia says, sign up now. Don't hesitate. It will transform the way you think about yourself and the people in your life. It will evolve your brain in a way you never imagined. Do it, Emily says. Don't wait. Even if you never coach another person after you certify, you will have experienced the most incredible self-transformation available. The skills you gain will continue to improve every aspect of your life long after training. So here are the lifetime benefits of becoming certified by the school. You get your profile in the Life Coach School directory so other clients that want a Life Coach School coach can find you. You get a referral portal where you can work with your colleagues on making referrals to each other. You get monthly group coaching calls that are exclusively taught by me and the other master coaches for coaches. You get an advanced training website exclusively for certified coaches. You get all the newest tools and trainings before anyone else gets them. And we offer once a year a mastermind. This is an in-person 2-day training live with me, master coaches, and all the certified coaches in a hotel somewhere. We all come together and meet each other. There's only like a nominal fee to hold your spot there. It's not thousands of dollars. It's simply included as part of your benefit of becoming a certified coach. The other thing that we offer, which is completely amazing, is an unconditional 30-day money-back guarantee. If you sign up and you start the training program, and for any reason, you've gone to the classes, you've shown up to practice, you've read the materials, if for any reason you don't think it's for you, you don't like it, you don't want to be there, we will give you your money back within the first 30 days. It's like a free absolute opportunity for you to check this out. It's hard for you to know before you start. So it's like, come on into the room, look around and see how awesome we are. Confirm your decision with yourself with no risk to you. And the other guarantee that we're offering is an earn back your tuition guarantee. One of the things that we highly recommend, and we want to make sure that everyone understands, is that once you become a coach, you can go out there in the world and earn your tuition back. You can either go out there and get employed and earn your tuition back, or you can go out there and start a business and earn your tuition back. If you get hired by the Life Coach School, we start you at $60,000 a year full-time. And if you're part-time, we start you at $30,000 a year. So that's a no-brainer. When you're an entrepreneur, we've had coaches come and make $100K their first year. Many of them have earned their tuition back the first year. But if for some reason you don't earn your tuition back in that first year, while you're getting trained, while you're working through our entrepreneurial program, if you come to us and say, listen, I've done all these things, I've tried to do it, I want to earn my tuition back, at least the tuition, which is $3,000 a month for 7 months. So it's $21,000. If you want to earn that tuition back, we will work with you for an additional year until you do. We will put you in those mentoring calls until you earn that money back. That is our guarantee. So there's very little risk. If you don't like the program, you get your money back, which rarely happens. I actually just asked Stephanie this. I'm like, how often does that happen? Rarely. And if you don't, if you love the program and you get certified and you're trying to make money and you're having a harder time, we will commit to another year for you to help benefit you in making that money back. That's how much we believe in it. Our next program starts November 1st. You go to thelifecoachschool.com/enroll, and you will be able to sign up for the program completely risk-free, try it out for 30 days, see if it's right for you. If it is right for you, you stay in that program. Make sure you earn that tuition back. So you pay yourself back that investment, and then that investment will just keep paying you forward, not only in your life, but in the ability for you to make money, the ability for you to be employed as a life coach in the world. Okay. I want to switch back over and answer any questions that may have come up for any of you while I was doing this. Here we go. Hi, Brooke. I'm here because I've been listening to the podcasts and I'm desperate for a career change, but this career I'm in is all I know. So change is scary. I'm worried that people I know might think I've lost the plot and then I'm not cut out for this role. I think that's so funny. When I first became a life coach, people are like, you're doing what? What sport are you coaching? I've had so many doctors and attorneys quit their jobs. Think about this. They've gone to school forever, paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're working as doctors, working as attorneys. And they're like, I'm going to become a life coach instead. The people around them are like, have you lost your mind? Kinda. I have lost my mind. But what's fun for me to watch is like all these doctors that are making a certain amount of money that then switch to life coaching and end up making 10 times more than they were ever making as a doctor and loving their jobs. Same with attorneys, same with people that are in high profile executive jobs. So listen, one of the obstacles to overcome is what people will think about you. I mean, people still think I'm crazy. I'm making $50 million a year as a life coach. They're like, you're doing what? What are you doing? Like, so you have to decide whether your dreams are more important than other people's opinions. That's a decision you have to make. And listen, I am not belittling how tricky that is and how challenging that is for us, because this is the thing. The brain freaks out when we make a new change because, oh my gosh, everyone's going to die. But also the people around you's brains freak out when you make a change. Notice how we want everyone to stay the same because our brains stay calm when we do that. Erica's saying, I want to know more about the structure of the program, right? It's a weekly program. You get a video and then you have a live class that's 1 hour with an instructor where you practice and apply what you learned in that video that day. We ask that you're willing to commit at least 5 hours a week to the program. So that's 1 hour that you'll be practicing. It's maybe a half an hour video that you'll be studying. And then we give you all the materials that you need to study the curriculum in your program. So we want you to be able to study it and take notes and ask questions and get what you need done. So we recommend at least 5 hours a week. I'm worried I won't find a job when I get done with school. So, I think this is a really interesting belief system, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to become a doctor. I'll always be able to find a job. I'm going to become an attorney. I'll be able to find a job. Oh, I'm going to study business. I'll be able to find a job. If you have the same belief in yourself about being a life coach, it's applicable to so many different fields. And so I think if you allow yourself to believe in your dreams, if you allow yourself to believe in your best case scenario, you think about that. My best case scenario is I will be employed as a life coach. Is that worth taking the risk if that could be your life? I want to say yes, it must be. That's how I think about my own life. That's how I've made all my dreams come true. I'm not sure I will like coaching, but I want to try it. Same exact opportunity you have. You have 30 days to try it out, try out coaching. Now, remember, in the beginning, you're going to suck at it. You're going to be terrible at it. It's going to feel the worst it's ever going to feel in the very beginning. So if you still like it then, and most everybody does, you know you're on the right track. How do I create a successful business as a life coach? Is the life coach market oversaturated? No, stop saying that, people. Oh my God. Life coaching customers are the entire world. Look at the world. It's a hot mess. We need more life coaches to coach the people, to help the people. These are people that are functioning that need our support. It's like everyone, in my opinion, needs to exercise. So do we need any more personal trainers? Yes. Please, we need all the personal trainers. Do we need more weight loss coaches? Yes, please, we need more weight loss coaches. Do we need over drinking coaches? Yes. Too many people, way too many people over drinking, too many people depressed, too many people upset. We need more life coaches. Listen, when I first became a life coach, someone told me like, oh, the industry's oversaturated. We've grown by billions of dollars since then. If you weren't on the train, you missed it. If you believed that, you missed it. We are the fastest growing industry right now. What does that mean? More and more customers coming on board. I worry about adding to my debt for coaching. I felt strongly that this is the route to take, but feeling irresponsible and fear of failing with debt. I hear what you're saying. Now listen, think about it, your debt in 3 years. If you achieve your dreams as a life coach, if you invest here, do you have a better chance of paying off your debt or if you don't? I mean, I can't stop thinking about Stacey Bayman, who like barely had any money to do it. She went into debt. She was scraping by to become a life coach. And now she's, making $5 million a year. Debt is the least of her worries. Now, listen, if you're going to make this commitment and you're going to go in debt for it, which many people do, you have to be committed to paying yourself back. And we're committed to helping you pay yourself back within a maximum of 2 years. We want you to pay it back. I would love for you to pay it back as soon as possible. We want to help you do that. How do you recognize the people who need therapy and not life coaching? We have a whole course within your coach training that is taught by certified life coaches of the life coach school that are also therapists. And they teach you exactly the signs to look for to know if your client needs therapy or if your client needs life coaching. And it's a great training. It's required that everybody take it because there are some signs where you recognize this person is not appropriate for coaching and you can refer them out. We actually have a lot of clients that are in therapy and life coaching at the same time, which is a beautiful thing. But if they're just coming to you to try and solve a therapy problem, we give you the tools in order to understand whether that's appropriate or not. I looked into psychology, but it's such a long qualification process until you're actually able to start helping people and make money. So life coaching seems like a good alternative. However, a lot of people seem to laugh at life coaching. You know what? Nikki, they do. And I laugh right back at them. It's not legit as being a licensed therapist. I know they're different in what they deal with, but how do you determine your certification is legit enough? That's such a good question, Nikki. But here's the thing. So many therapists are becoming life coaches. And one of the reasons why they're doing that is because life coaching is an unregulated industry, which means as a life coach, I can coach anyone in the world. As a licensed therapist, I'm only licensed to practice in the place that I'm licensed. So it's very limiting in terms of who I can serve. Now, it's also a different offering. Therapy is offered to people who have different issues than people who need life coaching. And so that's why we're very clear that people who are therapists need a different set of training, a different set of qualifications. The cost to become a therapist, the time required to become a therapist is much higher, much more expensive, much more effort than it is to become a life coach. And so it's important that we understand that getting certified through the life coach school creates a legitimacy to the work that you're doing because we're giving you all this in-depth training on how to serve this audience. Now, because we're an unregulated industry, anyone can call themselves a life coach. Is that legit? I mean, it is legal, but is it legit? That's one of the things we're trying to do at the life coach school is create a certification that people will recognize and say, oh, you're a life coach school certified coach. You're the coach that I want. And we've already really begun to do that. Our coaches are the most successful because they're delivering the highest level of results and the highest level of coaching. I would love your help, Brooke. My current day job ticks a lot of the right boxes for me, and all accounts is a good job. It doesn't light my soul on fire. I'm not desperate to exit my current job, but I'm contemplating the move to become a coach and run my own business. The thought that keeps coming up for me is, what if this is as good as it gets, meaning my current job? How can I think about whether I should stay and make my current job experience amazing or take the risk on something unknown to me, coaching? Well, Stephanie, such a good question. One of the things that I would offer to you, and one of the things that many of our students do, is they keep their current job as they're going through the training and building their business. Because if you ask yourself the question, what if this is as good as it gets, you've already limited your mind. And you want to make sure when you ask yourself a question, you ask yourself an amazing question. It's actually fun. One of the things that I did with my friends lately is I asked them, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate your life? And most of my friends rate their life an 8. And I said to them, but what if this is just a 2? What if what you think is an 8 is actually just a 2? See how it's such a better question? When you ask a question like, what if my life could get 10 times better than this? Then all of a sudden your brain expands. If you stay where you are and you say, this is as good as it gets, or this is fine, or I'm perfectly happy doing this, you're never going to evolve and expand your brain. And so the question is, do you want your life to have the variety of expansion or not? And that's completely up to you. That'll help you get the yes or the no. Do other organizations recognize the life coach certification? Yes. Many other organizations are coming to us telling me that they want to hire only life coach certified coaches. So many different ones. We've actually had to have one of our employees focus on making referrals based on life coach certified coaches. There are several questions here that I didn't get to. Patrice says, I love the model. I want to create my own model. I'm looking forward to November 1. Yes, congratulations. I'm so glad you enrolled. Listen, there's some questions here that I didn't get to answer that I definitely want to make sure you get answered. So I want to make sure that if you didn't get your question answered, that you go to thelifecoachschool.com and you either talk to us in the chat box or you set up a phone call where you can get that information from us. I want to make sure that you have all the information and that you can get to a yes or a no today. I want to offer that you have 30 days to change your mind. I don't recommend that you do that. I recommend that you commit to the yes, but I do want to also make it easier for you to get to that yes in case you have a lot of fear around it. So the last question I'll answer is, you mentioned that toward the end of the 6 months that we can choose the applied coaching track or the entrepreneur track. Is that included in the $21,000 tuition? Yes, it is. It's absolutely included. All of that information, all of the mentoring, all of the weekly coaching ongoing for that 6 months is included in your tuition. You are welcome, my friends. I always want to overdeliver. I always want to give you way more than you paid for. I want to help you find a way to pay back that tuition, which is really just an investment in yourself and in your life and in your career. It would be my honor to train you as a coach. We need more life coaches in the world. We need more highly trained, really high-level life coaches. That's why we created this certification for you. Thank you for joining me today. It has been my absolute pleasure. And if you have any questions, make sure to go to thelifecoachschool.com/certification. If you're ready to enroll, thelifecoachschool.com/enroll. I'll see you in class, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Hey, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, you have to come check out SelfCoaching Scholars. It's my monthly coaching program where we take all this material and we apply it. We take it to the next level and we study it. Join me over at thelifecoachschool.com/join. Make sure you type in the lifecoachschool.com/join. I'd love to have you join me in Self-Coaching Scholars. See you there.